Hello, I'm Leo Whiteside, and I would like to talk to you about melatonin and to begin the discussion about how melatonin works and how we can use it for developing our own program of strength, health, and wellness. Melatonin is generally known as the hormone that is made in the pineal gland, located deep in the brain and active at night, and initiating the sleep-wake cycle. And it is available over the counter as a harmless sleeping aid. And this is all true, but it is much more than that in our physiology and metabolism. Melatonin is absolutely essential in our metabolism, and it can be a vital part of health management. Like everything else in biology, this is a massive subject, and we are just now learning how all of this works and how it all interacts with our health and our health management. One of the remarkable characteristics of biological systems is their use of the same molecular structure for very different functions depending on the environment and the anatomical location. And melatonin is a good example of this phenomenon. The molecular structure of melatonin has not changed over time, and this molecule is made of the very common basic elements of our atmosphere: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. Its physical structure and chemical properties make it incredibly useful in a myriad of chemical processes in biology. And let's start at the beginning of this very interesting story. And discuss how this amazing substance saved life on Earth and produced our first ancestors. Melatonin first appeared in living cells 2.5 to 3 billion years ago during the Great Oxygenation event. At that time, the only life was single-celled organisms. This was when photosynthesis began and produced oxygen. And this grew to a point that oxygen became abundant in our atmosphere. This oxygen was destructive to most of the living organisms. Like hydrogen peroxide cleans your cabinet surface. Oxygen in its reactive forms can be destructive to microorganisms. However, a few of these single-cell organisms used melatonin as part of their energy generation process, and this saved them. This molecule was able to extinguish the reactive oxygenation products that were produced when these single-cell organisms were exposed to sunlight and oxygen. This ability offered improved survivability, and soon only cells that used melatonin in their energy generating process were left. Later, about 1.5 billion years ago, after symbiotic bacteria were incorporated into eukaryotic cells and formed into mitochondria and developed oxidative phosphorylation, melatonin, which was already present in these symbiotic bacteria, was then incorporated into the oxidative phosphorylation mechanism as a facilitator and regulator of electron transfer, and that's where it still is. This series of changes improved survivability of the organism and vastly improved energy generation, and therefore they were incorporated into eukaryotic cellular metabolism and respiration. Melatonin began facilitating circadian rhythm, the sleep-wake cycle, about 700 million years ago as more complex organisms developed. As vertebrate animals and more complex central nervous systems evolved along with the pineal gland, melatonin became incorporated as a hormone that was released into the circulation in synchronizing the processes of circadian rhythm about 500 million years ago. So this same chemical structure that developed 2.5 billion years ago as an antioxidant has been maintained and used as an antioxidant and scavenger of reactive oxygen and nitrogen species. And in modern times, this same molecule has continued in its early roles of antioxidant, facilitator of oxidative phosphorylation, and management of circadian rhythm. Now, in modern animals, in modern biology, melatonin is produced in many cells in the body, and it is a vital part of energy generation, especially in the mitochondria. And it also has become involved in neurological development and protection of the central nervous system, muscle development and maintenance, fat generation and deposition, insulin secretion, glucose metabolism, digestion, and management of the gastrointestinal microbiome, along with development of bones and joints, protection of the skin, and cancer prevention and probably treatment. There are many interesting questions that have no answers yet about melatonin and how it works. Many people have dedicated their lives to the study of this incredible molecule, and there are books about it as well as scholarly journals fully dedicated to the study of melatonin and the pineal gland. There are lots of things we know now, and there is some basic information that we can learn to use in our own quest for strength, health, and wellness that can be used now. And there are many more that we will learn if we continue to follow this field of scientific investigation. So this series will be an introduction to melatonin. And I hope you will come with me on this journey, and I hope you will continue to learn more as this fascinating subject develops over the coming years.